there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to TGIF Talks, episode 125. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by my co-host, Anonymous Phil.
Hello.
Okay, let's roll the intro, and then there's things to discuss, my friends. Oh boy, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so, to the people watching at home, okay, so this podcast might get broken down kind of funkily. So, basically, we recorded the first part, we recorded the podcast, we got about 20 minutes in, and Streamlabs crashed, which means that is the final nail in the coffin for Streamlabs. It is dead. I'm no longer using it. I'm going to uninstall it as soon as we're done with this podcast here. And I'm switching to regular OBS. We are now recording on regular OBS. Now, here's the other issue. We had really good conversation. It really sucks. Like, this was probably the best podcast we've had for just conversation because we weren't fighting.
For a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was just good, solid conversation. It's good sci-fi conversation. And my computer decided to take a shit. So, this may be the second introduction of this video. So, you may or may not be seeing this. Anyways, we're going to pick up, I mentioned quasi-stars. We're just going to end the discussion there. I know there were some great points that I talked about after that, but, like, that whole first point, Phil's audio sounds like crap, and so we're hoping it sounds better here. And anyways, this could be the second segment / only segment of the podcast. Very weird podcast this week. So I have been put on record, I'm pretty sure, at some point in my life, stating I do not like Harry Potter, and that is for the most part true. Like, I'll sit down and watch a Harry Potter movie, and it's whatever, but I'm not like invested in this franchise like I am like for Star Wars or Marvel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's not terrible. My issue with it is it's kind of like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek to me. There's too much talking, not enough action. Star Wars is pretty fast-paced for the most part, a lot of action. And Marvel's kind of the same way. Everybody complains about how Marvel's editing is like neck-breaking. Well, I don't mind it. I have ADD. I tend to just, pop here, there, everywhere.
You don't like the editing?
What? No, people don't like the Marvel edits.
What do you mean?
The fight scenes, they're hard to keep track of what's going on because they cut so quickly.
Sure.
I've never really had a problem, but again, I have ADD. Again,
the only problem I have had recently was mainly in the case of what was the last movie that I saw?
Which one? Oh, the one that Weez?
Black Panther.
Oh, right.
That movie dragged on. That was way too long.
They screwed that. That movie, yeah.
That is my biggest problem with Marvel recently, is that the movies, they keep trying to want to hit like this 2.5 hour plus mark, and it's like, why? I have no problem going to the theater and being in and out in an hour and a half if it's a great movie.
That's a comedy, though.
I'm not saying that Marvel could hit every point that they want to make in an hour and a half. I'm just saying that I would much rather watch an amazing hour and a half movie than be like asking myself, when is this over? An hour and a half in.
Right.
Of a 2.5 hour movie.
My issue right now with Marvel is they're building up two characters that I don't understand how they're going to pay off. They're building up Kane the Conqueror or whatever, and they're building up Valentina. And I don't understand, like, they're doing a better job building her up than they are of building Kane the Conqueror. And, like, because, like, literally next year, not next year, Yeah, 2024. Sorry, I forgot. It's 2023. Literally next year, we're gonna see the next Avengers movie where like we're supposed to fight him, and I'm thinking like, what is Valentina's purpose then? Is she just gonna be like a big villain to replace Kingpin in like the TV shows for like all the minor characters? But then of course they have big budget people like Black Panther and Falcon fighting him, so I'm like, why fighting her? So I'm like, I'm confused. So I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, so I don't know. Well, anyways, bringing back to the Harry Potter thing. So we were discussing time travel, and we were looking at the best time travel movies of all time. And I brought up how I hate when they do things in reverse order. And on this list, they have the best time travel movies as Back to the Future, Groundhog Day, which isn't, I mean, it is a time travel movie, but also not really. But anyways, and then Terminator, which is not the order I expected, but it makes sense. And then Planet of the Apes, which I forget about, which, again, I don't know. And then there's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I don't know if that can be included in this genre. Edge of Tomorrow, I've never seen Edge of Tomorrow, so I can't give a thing on it. 12 Monkeys, Star Trek 2009. And then we had Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I was like, Phil, have you ever seen Prisoner of Azkaban? And he's like, no. He's only ever seen maybe the first movie. But you've never read the books either, have you?
I tried to read the first one, and it got way too long, and I became uninterested.
See, that's my issue. They gab too much. Too much talking. Which, don't get me wrong, that is, if it's something I'm interested in. So here's kind of where this is going to drag on. Whatever. Anyways, everybody complains about the trade talk in Star Wars Episode 1. I don't really mind. Again, I'm a weird type of person where trade regulations... God, I sound so old and boring when I say this, but I like discussing trade regulations. I also, in Black Panther, I love to learn about like the economy and the society that is Wakanda. And then I love to see how its role is in the international scale. I want to see how another superpower like the United States interacts with this. I want to see...
that was the other thing that pissed me off. They say, oh yeah, vibranium, the only thing that's found in it's the only metal, rarest metal on Earth, only found in Wakanda. Oh wait, turns out there's a whole bunch of it in the ocean.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah. But, like, again, also, like, nobody's ever explored the ocean, so...
I suppose.
Like, honestly, we might end up... I mean... what I find funny about this, right? So I don't understand this. They have the technology to go to space and do, like, an SSTO. We've seen this in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I know you haven't seen it, but they literally go to space... in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a plane, an SSTO pretty much. Single stage to orbit vehicle. And so going to space and like mining asteroids and stuff doesn't seem that difficult. Also seems to be that the Quinjets are also able to go to space. Because like how did Hulk get to space at the end of Ultron, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly they had the technology to go to space quite easily. If going to space is that easy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why the fuck are you wasting time mining crap at the bottom of the ocean? Isn't it just
Wait, the Quinjet, are those rotors that provide the thrust?
Well, it has multiple different types of ways of providing thrust. But somehow Hulk got into space. It has rotors.
How do you provide thrust in space?
Well, so
sure you can leave at a constant. Sure if your velocity is high enough when you leave Earth.
So
travel at a constant velocity.
the Quinjet's got the rotors, and that's just to provide hover capabilities and was it Volk? Yeah, Voltaire, vertical takeoff and landing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what those are used for, but they have actual like thrusters. I don't know if they're just a regular jet engine. I don't know if they have closed cycle for oxygen, for liquid oxygen. I have no idea. They never talk about it, but somehow Hulk got into space with the Quinjet. Who knows? Point is, but we do see in Marvel Seasons of S.H.I.E.L.D. they do go to space using a closed cycle engine. So, okay, so they could go to space. Seems quite easy, honestly. So why the? And we know that using spectra, using light, we can take a spectrum of asteroids to figure out their composition. Meaning that we can scan the entire solar system looking for vibranium-rich asteroids. And when we look out into the universe and we're examining elements, the distributions of elements compared to on Earth are wildly different. Because on Earth, lithium is very rare on Earth, but lithium in the universe is not rare. It's common.
Third.
Well, it's not third. Because it starts hydrogen, helium, drops down to lithium, goes back up to beryllium. It's weird. I can get a chart.
Oh, I think I've seen the chart actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's quite common, meaning that vibranium, whatever element it's supposed to be on the periodic table, I think it's supposed to be like their titanium or whatever, or maybe it's supposed to be like next to aluminum. I don't know. Point is, I think it's supposed to be somewhere between beryllium and aluminum. Anyways, so it exists somewhere on their periodic table there. Unless it's like technetium, where it's unstable, and which you then can't find it in the universe. I don't understand, but we know it's not, because they're able to make frisbee. They're able to make a frisbee and all kinds of cool stuff out of it. So we know it's not rare. We know it's not radioactive. We know it doesn't just decay and disappear. So we know it's out there in the universe, meaning that unless the solar system is somehow an anomaly, which we know it shouldn't be, I don't know how it would be, but if somehow the solar system is an anomaly where there is no vibranium in the solar system, there should be vibranium out in the somewhere out in the asteroid belt. Moving on from that, why the fuck are they mining at the bottom of the ocean? Asteroid mining, like, we are closer to mining asteroids in the present time than we are to going to the bottom of the ocean to mine for precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand. Where gee, and they had to build some special detector that can detect vibranium. It actually, I would assume, be pretty easy because you could just use some sort of sonar. I would assume its sonar signal would be a bit different than like the surrounding rock, because it's so like reactive to sound waves or whatever. That's how I would go about looking for it, because you can't use a spectrum underwater. So, anyways, so that's that. I don't know how we got onto that away from Harry Potter, but anyways, they do time travel in Harry Potter, and their version of time travel is jank. Their version of time travel is kind of like Doctor Who time travel, but also Doctor Who time travel also breaks things where okay, they're like Back to the Future time travel where you can go back in time, but like also you can see, so you can go back in time. So like all time travel, I guess, theoretically allows you to go back in time and watch yourself. But somehow in Prisoner of Azkaban, I think they're able to, like, via magic, like, interact. I don't remember the entire movie, but it really plays fast and loose with the rules of time travel. I already said in a deleted scene at this point, unfortunately, that Terminator just takes the rules of time travel, crumbles up into a ball, and lights it on fire. But this destroys it. Also, I love that Endgame isn't here on any of this, but that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, and the most popular time travel movies of all time, Endgame, isn't on here. Idiocracy is.
It's not?
No.
Oh, it should.
It's the second highest grossing movie of all time. It was the highest.
That's why it should.
Yeah, unless it's not that.
Technically, it should be first. Avatar was out, long gone, long over. 10 years later, they decide to release something
in China.
To get the views it needed.
Yep. J.J. Abrams is petty. We've already had this discussion. Anyways, so I was gonna have this whole thing, but I honestly
I thought it was it Abrams or Cameron?
James Cameron.
Cameron
made Avatar.
Yeah, I thought you said Abrams.
Maybe I did by accident. Anyways, it's Cameron. He's a schmuck. We've already discussed this. But so we come back. So a lot of people bitch about the Harry Potter series when they introduced the Time Turner, which is their time machine, because it could have been used to stop Voldemort, could have been used to do a lot of things, and we never see it again. We never see it. We see it get used once. So, and the thing is, right, the justification for never seeing it again is that it's too dangerous or whatever to be left in the hands of anybody. But they gave it to Hermione so that she could take more classes. That's why Hermione had it, so she could take double the amount of classes of everybody else. They gave it to a child. What? So there's another issue with the Harry Potter franchise. So, but I would be willing to sit back down and rewatch Harry Potter. I haven't even seen all the movies. I haven't even seen to the end because, again, I get to Half-Blood Prince and I start falling asleep.
Now the question is, would you rent them or would you buy them?
I don't know. Kind of depends how much it costs me to buy.
I don't think you can buy it off Voodoo and then return it.
You cannot, no. Although they have a sale on their UHD. You can buy it in 4K for the same amount you can buy it in regular HD.
What is the difference between renting and buying?
So when you rent something on Vudu, you get like one playback for like a certain amount of time, and that's it. When you buy it,
price.
Oh, so I would have to rent, say, the first Harry Potter movie. It's $3.99 regardless of which. For the first one, anyways, regardless of which. I can't think of what the hell it's called. Which resolution you get? It's $3.99. Okay. So that's the first one. Let's skip all the way to the last one to double check that it's same price. So it's $3.99 for all 8 for each movie. There's 8 of them, so versus $78.99 for all 8 outright. So it's significantly cheaper. But you will spend $30. 4 times 8. Yeah, you're going to spend $30, $35, give or take, after taxes, because I'm sure you'll have to pay tax on that, to watch all 8.
Mm-hmm. Versus, what, 78 you said to own?
Yeah.
So, I guess, it's...
Don't get me wrong.
$78, I will say, is a lot of money.
It is.
for something that you'll never want to watch again.
So here's the thing, right? I like the first 4 Harry Potter movies. I've seen them each one of them many times, because that was usually all that was on TV. Like ABC Family would run marathons of all the Harry Potter movies, and I would just watch all day. I just sit there and watch the Harry Potter movies because usually there was nothing on the weekends. In the summer, I think. During the week, yeah, there's definitely had to be during.
So you like half of them? I guess that could support buying it. At least you like half of them, and who's to say you won't like the next couple?
Well, the thing is, it's Order of Phoenix, and it's Order of Phoenix is where I start to break down. My favorite is Goblet of Fire. I really like. It's just very different from all the other ones, which is why I like it so much. Oh, I like the first few because it's just like, it's just, they're also just kind of a different feel compared to the other ones. They're kids. It feels more like you're not into the big lore of the whole series yet, but you're kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. So, I don't know. I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it for a while.